Hello YouTube, it's time for the Season 6 Siege Tournament Round 3 quarterfinals, Say Swag Again versus Malicious. As many of you probably know, this matchup was the finals in every previous Global Siege tournament. This time, not the finals, because my guild Say Swag Again did not make it to the tournament in top 4. So we were ranked 5, I think, and we ended up fighting Mali in their first round, our third round. So, without further ado, let's begin here. Up first, we've got the Nana Jogen Savannah, and I'll show some runes real quick because people did ask for this. I've said before that this team is one that I stopped using before the finals, so you're probably not going to see it from me again unless it's like desperation, but the runes are basically just get as thick as you can. Speed tick wise, Malite is at tick 7, Rakuni and Windy are both at tick 6. And they're just basically I run these in optimizer sorted by effective HP under defense break. So heavy emphasis on HP over defense if you can, but really just as thick as possible. We've got wind reduction on the Malite and on the Rakuni as well, because when I was testing, the biggest threat to the Rakuni was still the Savannah. Obviously he's got some water reduction on there too. Windy is actually just my normal Windy build. Didn't change much. We're additional damage because Windy's a damage dealer. And we'll go ahead and see how that did. Those builds aren't exactly what I used during the tournament. I don't have the optimizer file for that anymore, but it's pretty close. And my monsters aren't ruined that way anymore because I was borrowing defense runes for offense monsters because it's the tournament. So I probably can't get that rune quality to use during the regular season. I probably won't be using this during the regular season. Turn 1 went pretty poorly for the defense. That's the thing about Joe Gunn, is that he often just doesn't use the abilities you want him to. And the point of this offense is just to outlive them. A couple things we're trying to focus on. We definitely want to get the Malite into stone form as quickly as we can. Wasn't really an issue here, but in other fights that I've done, like tests, I've had to boost up my Malite turn 1 just to make sure I can get a skill 2 off. We want to keep that slow debuff on the Savannah because that is going to be reducing the damage output there. Although I did just see that I elected to not dismount Savannah with the attack buff on. And that was probably just because dismounted Savannah often hurts more than mounted Savannah. Although it looks like I'm paying for it now. Probably should have went ahead and dismounted that. Because she got a skill 3 off. But she dismounted herself, which is nice. Just trying to get some more healing out of the Rakuni. See that Savannah hurts quite a bit on the even in stone form with wind reduction artifacts. But we have another tank for Savannah. Obviously, Savannah can go after the Rakuni if Rakuni gets defense broken. That's why Rakuni's on wind damage reduction. But for the most part, Savannah's going to go after the wind monsters here. And yeah, this just looks really shaky. Like I said, I tested this team probably about 80 times against my guildies versions of this defense. It came out to, depending on how the defense is built, if the defense is built like super aggressive with, high damage Nana and decent damage Joe Gunn, then this offense was winning 81% of the time in about 50 tests. If the defense was built with like a tankier Nana, then I basically always won. So this was tested thoroughly, although I wasn't super happy with my win rate. And fortunately, before the finals, I found out that I can get a better win rate just on a Tractor Windy team, as opposed to this Malite Rakuni. But it worked here. This was, one of the 81% that we win, fortunately for me. Would have really felt bad if I lost my first attack in this siege, because this siege was very much, stressful. Second attack, we have twins. Mali was running twins for their 4-star. Twins are just kind of, like they usually are. And in this fight, I think I'm going to get resisted on every single one of my Aegir skill 3s on this Shina, which is pretty unfortunate because I think I have 45 accuracy. Or no, I think it was 44 accuracy. But either way, My Bella, like, never gets a turn because it's always stunned. I get double resisted again on my Aegir skill 3. Bella goes down. And this fight just is just a rough fight all around. We get slept. We get slept again. Unfortunate. We choose to cleanse. We get a lucky violent proc. That's all good. Stunned, slept. I guess woken up, so the sleep doesn't matter there. Okay, so we actually do land a skill 3. And there, I didn't go for the... I spent like 3 minutes thinking about that move, where I don't pop the Triana passive. I thought that my Elucia was going to move ahead of the Triana so I could skill 1 to kill the Shaina. But now that I think about it, I think it doesn't matter. I think even if I did pop the Triana passive, I would have lost the exact same way. So maybe if my Elucia was just a bit faster, that would have been nice, but there's our loss. Up next, we've got the Bulwark Kinky Savannah. I think they had like 1 tower of this, and they placed it a couple times. Basically, I'm just bringing a Elucia because they don't have any cleanser immunity, so my Elucia can just control the Kinky for as long as I need it to. I have a Tessarian, because Tessarian's gonna, tank those Bulwark skill 3s for me, and whatever else decides to hit him. And he's also very good at killing the Savannah. And then we have a crit damage Triana on board for a bit of extra safety, a bit of extra healing, and, help us finish off the monsters on the other side here. Tessarian is just the ultimate bruiser. Tessarian teams beat like every defense, it's crazy. So, Kinky with a couple violent procs. That's still okay for us. Didn't really do much. We'll probably heal up before he wakes up. Alrighty, 3v1. My Elucia does have like 65 skill 1 accuracy from runes and artifacts, so I would expect to land some of my Elucia skill 1's freezes on a Kinky, even though they're usually max resistance. But as soon as we get Oblivion on the Kinky, he goes down pretty quick. Up next, back to Nana, Jogen, Savannah. This time I'm bringing in the Leo team. This team is much better than the previous team. Just make sure you have a really tanky Leo. Like, you can use like a triple HP Leo for this, wind damage reduction. Just make sure you're not gonna get, completely destroyed by the Savannah. So there, I tried to Oblivion his Nana so that I could get a kill on Savannah. Did not work. So now I'm just going to, looks like, kill the Savannah twice, which is another option. Oh wait, is that Dot gonna kill? Maybe I just Oblivion the Nana. The fun thing about being so late on making my YouTube videos is I don't remember what happened. Okay, so that Dot would have killed the Savannah, so we Oblivioning the Nana, kill the Savannah. That works. Now I'm hitting Jogun, probably just because he's easier for me to kill with Tessarian than a water monster is. Get the Oblivion back up. No sense in forcing myself to kill something twice when I don't have to. And now we're probably on auto. I do really like Nana, Jogen, Savannah as a defense. I'm still not sure if I think that Ken is a stronger replacement for Jogun, even though for the finals we both guilds mostly switched to Kens. But I think Nana, Jogen, Savannah is pretty strong. Obviously, if I was using a defense that I felt had a 81% win rate into it. I must have thought it was strong if I couldn't find anything better than that. I mean, that Leo team's better, but I only have one Leo, so. So this is a, you know, pretty standard Sylvia Iris team. There's no immunity here, so anytime you have Sylvia Iris with no immunity, this offense probably works. Just bring in a Lucia to control the Iris. Bring a Tessarian because he's like the best bruiser in the game. And then bring a Lulu because Lulu's the best healer in the game. So we're just going to control his Iris so we don't have to really worry about getting Despair stunned. Oblivion's on the Sylvia means that, you know, he's not getting any crazy cooltime reduction from the additional turns that Sylvia gives him. And we just have basically all the time in the world. He's on Destroy, so the Ritesh is on Destroy, it looks like. But I'm not too worried about that. It's going to take a very long time for that to become relevant. Let's see. So eventually, I will get through this Sylvia. I have faith. I believe in myself. Oh, Iris almost got a turn there. Looks like Iris might get a turn before my Lucia can move again. Because of that speed lead. I'm sure she's a little bit faster than me. Oh, maybe not. Back to sleep. Alright, get Oblivion back on Sylvia. We finally get a double violent proc, but we missed one of our crits, so still alive until now. Only a matter of time. We didn't even get our HP that much destroyed. Now we're going to go after the Iris. And I think this going after Iris is mostly just because, you know, the Ritesh can cleanse himself with his skill too, so it's kind of annoying if you get your defense breakup set up and stuff and it just gets cleansed. But on the other monsters, he can't cleanse it, he can just heal them. So I think it's easier to kill them first. There's no way Ritesh 1v3s us. Although, you know, it being a very well-ruined Ritesh with a 33% speed leader and speed buff, it's going to get a lot of turns, and it's probably going to heal itself a lot, so this could take a while. But eventually, we're going to have our Lucia not glance. We're going to get a freeze off, we're going to get a sleep off maybe, and deny him some turns. And, you know, if it takes forever, we'll eventually also get a defense break into violent proc on our Tessarian. I just don't really see him putting out enough damage to actually kill me, especially when I have immunity so often. So, like, him getting a defense break into double violent proc or something just isn't likely to happen with how much immunity I have up, with how much wind damage reduction I have on both my water monsters. Feels pretty safe to me. Alright, apparently that one took too long, but I did eventually win. You just don't get to see it. Up next, Sylvia, Tianlang, Wusa. I went with a Bulwark Molong team with my own Wusa in this case. I don't have an Amelia, so that's why you're never going to see one from me. But I just want to kill this Tianlang real quick, so I'm going to open up with a skill 2 from my Wusa just to make sure I have enough damage in there. Because Sylvia Wusa, I don't think is going to be able to get through my monsters. As much damage as Wusa does now. Like, Wusa's going to be giving me lots of stacks. My Wusa's going to be giving me stacks. It's just stacks on stacks. Ooh, love that 15k Wusa skill too, with the Bulwark leader skill. Very nice. We even got to steal the shield here. Come on, Molong. I know you've got another skill 3 coming up soon. This is Vampire Molong, so I'm not going to cycle his skill 3 as fast, but Vampire Molong usually safer on offense. Alright, Wusa down. There's the skill 3. Big damage. And we clean it up. Hooray. Next up, what do we have? We got twins. And here's my Tractor Windy Lulu runes that I was using during the tournament. You can see 2 sets of artifacts for Tractor there. The top one is his normal set. The bottom one is his if I'm fighting against a Savannah team set. I don't run wind reduction against these twins teams. I only run the wind reduction if I'm fighting like a Savannah, or if for some reason I think I really need it. So basically, Tractor Windy are both heavy additional damage for me, and then Lulu is on resistance. So I failed the last time I fought twins. I figured I've got 4 attacks left in this siege. I've got 4 Windies left. I'm just gonna do that. So here we are against Mr. Peebo. And I'm pretty sure I just skill 1'd that Shina to try and get a slow on it because it was the only monster without immunity, but that was dumb. What you should really be doing is just using skill 1 on all 3 of your monsters into the Martina. And that's kind of all you should be doing. Try not to buff. The only time you should buff is if like you have to cleanse yourself with the Lulu or something like that, or heal a lot. But basically, you just only skill 1 until Martina's dead. And as soon as Martina dies, you win the match. Alright, Martina's dead, so we win the match. At this point in the match, I mean, you win no matter what, but like the safest way to do it, I think, is to kill the Triana first. Only because the Shina is just going to keep giving you a shield every time it hits your Windy. So in this fight, I kind of split my damage, which is fine. Like, again, if you have all 3 of your monsters and you kill the Martina, you've already won. It doesn't matter what you do. The trick is what happens when you don't have all 3 of your monsters. In which case, you just kill a Triana, because you need the shields from the Shina. Yeah, splitting my damage like this is pretty pointless. I should just be hitting Triana. I'm just wasting my time and your time, dear viewer. I'm probably just talking to my guildies in Discord, because the majority of us were just in Discord all day long for this siege. Alright, I've clearly pressed the auto button as I see my Tractor try and taunt the Triana. Which I certainly do from time to time, is hit the auto button, walk away. I wish I had pressed the fast forward button at the same time. Alright, there we go. So we've got 3 Windies left, and guess what? Let's see if we can use them. Up next, we got Faint Memory. One of them, there were 4 people named Faint Memory in the tournament, so can't say for certain who this player is. But again, all we want to do is kill this Martina. So I skill 3'd there to wake up my Windy. I was probably thinking that I wasn't going to get a buff on my Lulu, and I wasn't going to get a buff on my Windy, so the only buff from that skill 3 on Lulu went on to Tractor. And it's kind of unlikely, you know, it's only 1 in 3 that they steal that buff from Tractor, so that's probably why I did that. Like I said, in general, try not to buff. But that one might have been okay, just because we got the extra turn out of the Windy. And here you see me cleansing stun again, especially since my monster moved before his Martina there. It's a big damage Triana. Couple violent procs there. Maybe that was just one. But anyways, my Lulu dies, which is scary, you know? But even if your Lulu dies, all you have to do is kill this Martina. It's all you care about. Martina's dead now. Now, all you have to do to win this fight from here is don't hit Shina. Which I just messed that up. But I realized pretty quick that Shina cannot die. Because Shina is the one keeping me alive. She gives me a shield every single turn that I'm using to tank the Triana damage. So all I have to do to win this is kill Triana. This Triana appears to be made of paper, probably why it was doing so much damage to my Lulu. Because my Lulu was running, you know, that 22% wind reduction artifact, and it was rather tanky. But just make sure, especially if you lose your Lulu, you gotta kill Triana first after the Martina, because the Shina is giving you a shield that you need to survive. Up next, same thing again. Who would have thought? I don't know why I put up immunity there. That was a mistake. I just gave them 2 turns of immunity for no reason. Don't do that. Again, the piloting notes for this offense against this defense. Just skill 1 the Martina until the Martina dies. That's it. It's all you ever have to do. You can skill 2 with your Lulu if you need the extra healing. And sometimes it makes sense to, you know, cleanse a stun or a sleep. But for the most part, just don't buff too much. Never buff with your Windy while the Martina's alive. It doesn't really make any sense to do so. Just giving Martina extra damage at that point. Alright, splitting my damage. Like I said, if you have all 3 monsters alive, it doesn't matter what you do at this point. So at this point, we are 8-1. Oh, and I'm pretty sure I fast-forwarded that replay just because my guildies said we needed to hit another one of these quickly. So I was like, hold on, I gotta record it for YouTube. Be right there. And then we go right back into another one. So this is we have 5 Windies. We use 5 Windies. Windy's kind of insane on offense these days. This also makes me feel better about you know, losing to twins with the Aegir Elucia team, because like if I lost with that team and then I finished the siege without using all of my Windies, I would feel very bad that I didn't use this team instead. But the fact that we ended up having to do it, and I mean, I knew that I needed my Windies against their 5-star defenses as well, with the Nana, Jogun, Savannahs and stuff. So I knew I would use all of my Windies throughout the course of the siege. So I wasn't, that's why I used the non-Windy team against the 4-star in my first one. Was thinking like, I'm going to use all 5 of my Windies no matter what happens. So if I can save one against this 4-star, I can use it against a 5-star later. But turns out we ended up needing them against 4-stars instead, so we get to use them against 4-stars. And if I get the opportunity in Season 7, I'm going to build a 6th and a 7th Windy for sure. Windy's he's just too good. Especially since the monsters they just buffed in the balance patch are like Orion, who's a random defense breaker that Windy doesn't care about. Perna, who's a fire monster, so Windy can tank it. And Rakan, who's a fire monster, so Windy can tank it. Like, if the main buffs in the balance patch are Orion, Perna, Rakan, then I'll be using Windies throughout all of Season 7 as well. So this is our 10th attack now. We're going to end this siege 9-1. Unfortunately, I did not get to 10-0 Malicious. Perhaps in the next tournament. But as you probably are aware, we did win the siege. So that felt really good. Because me and all my guildies worked very hard for it. So shoutouts to all of the Say Swag Again crew for the awesome job. We'll see how Season 7 goes. But we're not done with Season 6 tournament yet, because this is only the quarterfinals. So, I'm going to have 2 more videos after this one. So that was SSA versus Malicious. Was a lot of stress and a lot of fun. Up next, I will have the semifinals, the Thanksgiving match. And I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.